Hello, and welcome to Moms for Book Liberty.
The podcast where a couple of moms fight back against groups trying to control what our kids can read.
With each episode focusing on a specific book that has found itself on the chopping block of censorship. Hello, and welcome to Moms for Book Liberty, the Junior Edition. This is our second episode, right, Jennifer?
Yes, our second one. It took us a while to get here, I feel like.
Yeah, I know. And these junior episodes are so fun.
I know they're fun, but it's also kind of sad that we have to do them.
Yes, that is a good point. But we are kicking off Pride Month with we've got lots of good episodes in store for our listeners, right?
Yes, we've got my Uncle Bobby's Wedding, right?
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
the one?
Yeah, I read that one a couple years ago, kind of by accident, but that one's written by Sarah S. Brannon, and that's a picture book, and the illustrations are beautiful.
Yes, it's such a pretty one. I was just reading it with my daughter, and we were just talking about how beautiful the illustrations are.
And I definitely cried when I read this one.
Aw.
And then the other one we're going to do, which is a junior edition, but it's not a picture book, is called Melissa. It used to be called George, but it got renamed to Melissa. It is definitely a junior edition, but like I said, it's not a picture book, but it's still just an amazing read. And I won't give it away, but my daughter actually just finished reading it and she loved it. So I'm excited to cover that one.
Yeah, and I haven't read that one yet, so I'm excited to read it.
Lastly, we are going to do a double episode. We're going to combine two graphic novels in one. So we're going to combine Flamer, which is a graphic novel by Mike Curato, and Genderqueer, which is a graphic novel by Maya Kobabe or Kobabe. We'll look up the pronunciation of that author's name so that we don't mess it up when we actually do that episode.
Right, because I'm no help here.
The first name is Maya, I'm pretty sure, but we'll double check that when we cover. But yeah, so we're kicking off Pride Month with a really awesome picture book that I have read to my 6-year-old like 45,000 times, called And Tango Makes Three by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell, illustrated by Henry Cole.
Yeah, this is such a cute book. It's based on a true story of two male penguins who adopt an egg and then obviously take care of it till it hatches, and they have baby Tango.
Because it takes two to make a tango.
Exactly.
So that's what, like you said, this is a true story. And the zookeeper, Mr. Gramsay, it's based on a real character at is it the Bronx Zoo? No, Central Park, the Central Park
New York Zoo.
Yeah. So I've actually been to the Central Park Zoo, and you know what's funny? I was at the Central Park Zoo, let's see, it was 2005, 2006, and Tango would have been like 5 or 6 years old. Or I don't know, Tango would have been like a baby, and I totally missed it because like I had no idea that this story, was there. But it's so cool to think that I was there when Tango was there.
Yeah. Did you see the exhibit?
Yes, I remember specifically seeing the penguin exhibit because it was so cool. They had like this writing at the top of the glass exhibit, and it said that penguins mate for life. And the way that they do this is they like find a pebble on the beach, like the perfect pebble, like it has to be super smooth and super round, and it's like the perfect pebble, and they give it to whoever they decide to mate for life with. And they had like written that at the top of the exhibit, and I read it for and that was like the first time I realized like how unique penguins were. So yeah, I mean, this truly is a scientific book about animal behavior. So like, it just baffles me that this book has been on the top 10 most banned book lists, like how many times, like 6 or 7 or even 8 times?
8 times since 2005.
Wow. So it was published around 2005, and since then it's been on the top 10 most banned book lists 8 times, which is crazy. It's a scientific book about animal behavior, but it also, offers visibility for, different kinds of families who have
Yes.
two dads or two moms, or even families that adopt, because these penguins literally, they're adopting a penguin. So it just baffles me that this is one of the books that we have to cover.
And it's so not controversial at all. It's a true story, an
Mhm.
interesting true story, which is obviously why they turned it into a book. Kids love this story.
And also, like we said, it does offer that important visibility for those different kinds of families.
Yeah.
And another reason that we decided to cover this to kick off, Pride Month is because it's actually a part of a groundbreaking lawsuit.
Yes. Yeah, in Escambia County.
Surprise, surprise. Escambia County is in what state? Florida.
Florida.
Unfortunately, here we are again making, the news and the headlines, but we actually are happy about this lawsuit, but it sucks that there has to be a lawsuit, but we're happy about the lawsuit because they're suing the school district and the school board for their sweeping school library censorships.
It's a publisher, right? One of the publishers joined the lawsuit.
Yeah, so I know that it's part of the lawsuit is Pan America. Oh yeah, and Penguin Random House, which is funny, Penguin.
Yeah, Penguin.
Yeah, right. Maybe they did that on purpose because the book was banned in Escambia, right? It wasn't challenged, and we know we've gotten some feedback about the difference between banned versus challenged. Like this book was banned, right?
Right. Which, I mean, they don't like the word banned. It's just another word for removed. It's not allowed in the school. So what do you call that? A ban.
Yeah, it's definitely banned. I mean, that's just crazy that I think it was something like 3 school board members against 2 voted to ban it. And right before the lawsuit came out, the school board abruptly fired the superintendent because the superintendent was not supporting all of these book bans. They're like, okay, you're fired, which
And we're seeing that a lot in
Yeah.
Florida.
yeah,
I don't know about other states, but definitely we see that a lot in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, even with our superintendent who, pushed Sold by Patricia McCormick, she pushed that through, even though she had banned the Nowhere Girls. I personally think that it's because she pushed Sold through, and among other things. But
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Lindsay Dirtschi, a member of the PTA in Escambia County, joined forces with Penguin Random House as well as Pen America to sue Escambia County. So
And
yeah,
there's
we'll
a
keep
few
you updated.
authors on there too, right? Obviously the author of this book
Yes.
and another book that we've covered, All Boys Aren't Blue.
Yeah. I mean,
then
Escambia
there's a few
County
more.
there's a lot more. Yeah. Escambia County has got a lot of books on the list. I think there's one particular teacher named Vicky Baggett, and it's unfortunate because she's a teacher who is trying to get all these books banned, right? She's she's an English teacher.
That's shameful.
Yeah. She went after The Perks of Being a Wildflower, which is a young adult coming of age novel, and a lot of other weird books like Slaughterhouse 5.
Did they get rid of it? What was their reasoning? What was their reasoning?
Tango Makes 3?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see if I can find it. Okay, so long story short, this shameful English teacher started asking to have all these books removed, or I think her word choice was quarantined from circulation. And so eventually the school board's general counsel said, we can't do that anymore. Just because you disagree with the message of a book, doesn't mean that you can just put it in quarantine. But nevertheless, they were put in a restricted section anyway, but eventually this policy was changed. So only books accused of being harmful to minors, such as, according to the Parental Rights and Education Act or the Don't Say Gay law. So that's kind of how we ended up here with Tango Makes 3, because even though the law is written to apply to classroom instruction, the presence of queer characters is enough for people to start worrying about their jobs, and as we've seen in some southern district in Florida, a teacher is being investigated by the Department of Education for showing that movie, the Disney movie, Strange World, because that features a gay character.
Yes.
And she didn't get fired, but she resigned. I mean, who knows if she would have gotten fired had she not resigned.
That was in Hernando County.
Yeah. And she's being investigated by the Department of Education. So, and that's because of this Don't Say Gay law, which
so ridiculous.
Right. Which of course DeSantis is saying it book bans are a myth.
He doesn't want to talk about anything that's outside of the Bible. So I'm seeing here in Pensacola News Journal where they interviewed some parents, and someone said having 2 same-sex parents is not considered abnormal in our society. Oh, that's what the committee's report stated. And
Oh.
it says many of the students in our district have same-sex parents.
Okay, so people are actually speaking out in Escambia, right? And again,
that was in the committee's report, but then
but they
the
still banned
board
it.
disagreed with the committee's recommendation.
And hence the
which
lawsuit.
Is, again, we see that a lot.
Right. So we've got this board, this board that is going completely against what the committee is saying, even though there are same-sex parents in this community. So it's good that this lawsuit is here. And actually, right before the superintendent was fired, he said, there's something bad that exists here. There's something toxic that exists here. And, he's right, but it's not just in Escambia.
No,
but
it's not even in Florida anymore. It's right. Spreading everywhere.
Yeah, I read somewhere that like Texas is ahead of Florida.
We're always competing with them to see who's worse.
I know.
This is a book that has a lot of awards as well. And we keep seeing this. Books that have won many awards are popular books, and they keep taking them out of circulation. For instance, this one has won multiple awards, including the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the Henry Berg Award in 2005, the American Library Association Notable Book in 2006, Bank Street Best Books of the Year, and the Rainbow Project Book List in 2008. And it's been a finalist for the Lambda Literary Award. And then, of course, it's also one of the top 10 most challenged books.
8 times.
8 times.
Which I think is
publication in 2005.
I mean, that's a badge of honor right there. 8 badges of honor, if you ask me. But yeah, I mean, this book is definitely awesome. And it's a quick read. It's a scientific read. Not only are you learning about animal behavior, but like you're learning about families. Like the book actually starts out discussing all the different like types of animals in the zoo and like the families in the zoo. Because it's, it's sort of just like talking about how all animals have families.
And then it goes on to say something about like some are different, I think.
Yeah.
And what a great way to explain it to children,
Yeah. And the book goes on to say that at some point, every year the boy penguins start to notice the girl penguins and they become a pair, which is unique in the animal kingdom. Like they actually couple, like not all animal species will like become a couple. So it is unique that they, become this couple. And then they go on to talk about how there were 2 penguins in the penguin house that were just a little bit different. One was named Roy and the other was named Silo, and they were both boys. And then it goes on to say, they did everything together, just like the boy and the girl penguin did together. And at first you're like, oh man, they're best friends. But then
when they watch how the other the other penguins made homes together.
Oh,
and they start to make their home together.
Mm-hmm. So
they collect all the little pebbles and they do all the,
they
the penguin stuff.
Yeah, it's cute because like they're copying the boy and the girl penguins around them, and they're doing it together because they love each other. And that's what Mr. Gramsci, the penguin keeper, says. Oh, they must be in love. And he's a penguin keeper. Like he knows. He's like the expert on penguins. So he's watching, and he's a scientist, and he's like, all right, these guys are in love. I'm gonna, my scientific ears are perked. I'm gonna keep observing what they're doing. And he observes that like they make this nest and they start sitting on this egg-shaped rock.
Yes.
And they like keep
But nothing happened.
No, they
kept waiting for it to hatch, and the rock was not going to hatch.
Right. And it's sad because it's like they're even like turning the egg or the rock, and they're sitting on the rock, and they're like treating this rock like it's an egg, and they sit on it and they sit on it and nothing happens.
Right. And so then one day Mr. Gramsci has an egg that needs to be cared for. And so he decides to put it in the nest to see what happens.
Yeah. And this wasn't like an extra egg that apparently this other penguin couple laid 2 eggs, and they weren't very good at taking care of 2 penguins. So instead of letting the one penguin die, because apparently he had seen that happen. So he's like, okay, instead of letting this one penguin die, I'm going to take this egg and give it to Roy and Silo.
And then that's exactly what they did. They sat on it in the morning and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime and swim time and supper.
I think it's just so cute to imagine these little penguins like taking turns, these 2 daddy penguins, right? Taking turns sitting on their egg, turning it so that it stays warm. It's just, I don't know. It's super cute.
I know it's an adorable story, but they didn't read a book that made them gay.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Cause like I was trying to think of like all these different kinds of children's books. So the one I could think of was like Where the Wild Things Are, right? Which is pretty commonly known. Like people know that book, Where the Wild Things Are. And it's, so basically it's about this kid who's got this like monster costume, and he's like, and I'm going to gobble you up. And then his mom sends him to his room without any dinner, which arguably is kind of harsh, but either way, then he like runs away. or he's imagining that he's going to run away. But if you're a kid reading the book, like for all you know, he's like running away. He found a boat and he's sailing in his boat to this island, right? Why aren't we banning this book? Like we don't want our kids to go running
Right.
away in monster costumes. So like shouldn't following this logic, shouldn't we ban this book? Or like for that matter, the Three Little Pigs, like it's teaching them to, I
Well,
don't know.
that book has been challenged too.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
That book has been challenged. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
for that reason.
why? Because the wolf blows down the house?
No, the Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Three Little Pigs.
No. That one might have been too. Who knows now?
Okay. So it was challenged because like they don't want kids to go run away, or it was challenged because the mom sent him to his room with no dinner?
Both, I believe. And
Oh,
then I
okay.
think they didn't like that there were monsters in the book.
Oh my gosh.
That it was scary.
Well, yeah, actually, I read some comment on some page where it was like, yeah, I was in the library the other day and this mom came in and she started yelling at the librarian. And she said it was because like her kid checked out this book and there were two parents in the book and they were fighting with each other. And she didn't want her kid to like read about parents fighting with each other. It just goes to show that people are going to get upset about whatever they want to get upset about. And,
Right.
you can't please everyone. I mean, that it goes back to cancel culture. Like you can't cancel things that you don't like. I'm not a big fan of crunchy peanut butter, but I'm not going to go out and cancel crunchy peanut butter,
Exactly. And if she was worried about what her child might read, why didn't she read it beforehand?
Yeah, true. Be a more involved parent. But
right.
I mean,
that falls on our shoulders, our
Exactly.
responsibility as parents.
Yeah, and it also falls on our responsibility as parents to not be like hateful, homophobic individuals, because it's not a choice. And there's nothing wrong with this lifestyle, and love is love. And that's why, we're doing this podcast. That's why we're covering these books, especially during Pride Month, because the queer community is under attack, and we're not going to just sit by and let it happen. Like we're going to be the voices, those annoying voices in your car or in your house or whatever, encouraging you to speak up and sue your school district. Seriously, if you can.
Speak up, show up. Yeah, really.
If you got the money, you got the time, go ahead. And
the more of us that show up, the better.
Exactly.
I was going to say in Hernando County, yesterday or the day before, they had a school board meeting and there were over 1,000 people that showed up. Obviously, not everybody was in favor of books, but a good majority of them were.
That's right.
So the more we show up, the more we speak up, that's awesome.
And we can't be the silent majority, because that's oftentimes what it is. Like it's the loud minority. We have to be the loud majority, because in the recent past, it's been, like what was it? One person in, I forgot which county, but somewhere in Florida, of course, banned the poem The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman.
Oh, yes. That was in, I think, Broward or somewhere down south.
One person got this entire book, The Hill We Climb, because it's a poem, right? But it was turned into a picture book, and it's beautiful. The pictures are beautiful. The poem is beautiful. And one person who put Oprah Winfrey as the author on the complaint form is responsible for taking this book out of.
Yes, and we're going to cover this book soon.
Yeah, we're going to do that for our Juneteenth episode. But I just can't believe that one person has that much power, and it's a shame. But like we need to respond in in a much larger way. We need to fight back.
Yeah. And that's usually what it is. It's not like a bunch of people are going out to challenge these books. It's one or two people in each county going in and challenging all these books. It's very, very rare to see plus 10, people doing it. So,
and here in
Flagler, we can't get away with it.
Yeah. Here in Flagler, it's like 3 women from Moms for Liberty. So.
Yeah. And of the 3, only one of them has a high school student.
So yeah, that was like quick and easy. I mean, this is a really quick and easy and awesome book to read with your little ones. Or even, if you like penguins, pick it up. Like you don't have to be little to read it. But what's really cool about this book is it comes with a compact disc, if you are one of those people that still has a CD player somewhere. And guess who narrates the story on the compact disc? Do you know, Jennifer?
I have no idea. Tell me.
Neil Patrick Harris, who I love.
Oh,
yeah. So most of you would know him from How I Met Your Mother. He's Barney from How I Met Your Mother, and he's awesome. I love him. But he's also he's part of the queer community, and he has a family. He's got a partner and they have kids, and so their kids have two daddies. So like this is a perfect book for him to get behind and promote, because families like that, and
and it's important, for visibility.
Mm-hmm.
So the next books we're gonna do is Flamer by Mike Corrado and Genderqueer, a memoir by Maya Kobab.
Yeah, and we'll double check the pronunciations on that after this. But yeah, so I'm excited about that because, like we said earlier, it's going to be a double episode where we do two books at once because they're both graphic novels. After that, got some more great books that we're going to cover. So make sure you like and subscribe on wherever you get your podcasts so that you get that fun notification whenever we release a new episode.
Yes, and also remember, they can't take books away from you
if you've already read them.